does appear to be. Okay, cool. Yep, it is working. So what I wanted to show, for those of you that are interested in cloud infrastructure, I've been toying around with Oracle lately and comparing it to AWS. And Oracle isn't a very well-known cloud provider, but their performance and price, from what I've seen so far, seems to be quite a bit better than AWS. I still think AWS is in a mode where they can charge more, or the most, of all the cloud providers because they're the biggest. They've been around for the longest. They've cornered the market, but I think they're losing traction to Google Cloud Platform, Oracle Cloud, and other providers. So I'm on the free tier of Oracle. They give you $300 free to use their service, and I think I've got like $65 left or something. But I talked to the sales rep yesterday. He gave me a call and offered to extend it another $300. So they've given me $600 worth of free credits here. So I figured I might as well keep going with it and see what I can capture in terms of performance and price. So it truly seems to be about 3 times better compute price performance than AWS. For high performance computing, 44% lower. IOPS apparently 20x better. And they use these AMD EPYC instances, which are just awesome. Like EPYC is, AMD is just killing it right now. They're beating Intel to death right now. Intel needs to come back with something strong. They're really not. The Intel, they just announced a GPU that's going to be coming out real soon, but on the chip side, I'm not aware of anything on the Intel side that's beating out AMD right now. So you can see right here, they're comparing M5A extra large. So if we go to ec2instances.info, what did I say? M5A extra large. Yeah. So that's going to be right here, M5A.extra large. So on the Amazon side, that's 4 virtual cores and 16 gigs of RAM. Linux on demand is about 17 cents. And the Oracle Cloud Shape, what they call them is shapes. So AWS calls them instance sizes. Oracle Cloud calls them shapes. They call them E3 2.2. They're saying is 2x improvement over M5A XX large, or sorry, .extra large. So they're basically saying that you might as well turn this to a 2 extra large. If they're saying you're going to get 2x performance, that's going to be a 2x large over here. So they're basically saying you get 8 cores and 32 gigs of RAM for the price of what Amazon would charge for 4 cores and 16 gigs of RAM, which is Linux on demand would be about 17 cents an hour. So that's intriguing. I have a feeling Oracle and other data center providers, cloud providers, prefer AMD and EPYC, especially because of the fact that the power consumption is so low. The Intel has long been known for being very power hungry and heat intense. They get very hot. So if you can run at a lower power, you're not going to run as hot. And AMD, these EPYC chips, from what I've heard, don't run as hot and don't consume as much power. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And if you have a workload that can benefit from the odd core counts, like they're talking about here, workloads that can benefit from odd core counts and non-standard memory increments, such as 3 cores and 48 gigs of RAM, Oracle offers this, and you can save even more money. So an R5 2 extra large can be 200% more expensive than this E4.3. So let's put that in. Let's see what an R5.2 extra large is. That's 8 cores, 64 gigs RAM. So going back here, they're saying that's 200% more expensive than OCI E43. So let's see what OCI E43 looks like. So they just announced this recently, March 15th, running on AMD EPYC. E4 uses 64 core processors, base clock frequency of 2.5. That's pretty low, but max boost up to 3.5. But I wonder how you, as the end user, would be able to do that max boost. So I'm not sure how that would really work. Let's see if they have the one we were looking for here. OCIe 4.3. I'm not sure what 4.3 means, but I might be able to figure that out here. I'm pretty new to the naming convention for Oracle here, but this cost estimator might help. So if we go over to the Oracle Cloud Cost Estimator, you can basically choose Compute, Virtual Machine, click Add here, and then here's your E4. So E4.3 is what they're talking about, but the thing that gets confusing is which E4 are we talking about? This E4 memory with this B93114, or this E4 without memory there. So I don't know, I'm just going to choose standard, I guess. And let's say that we're going to run one of these guys 31 days a month for 24 hours a day. So how many OCPUs would we use an hour? So 1. So they're saying, let's see what I've got here. I don't know how that got in here, so let's clear that with a 0. And we'll just use, we're not going to use Windows or VMware, we're just going to use Linux. $19 a month for one core. That's pretty outstanding. So let's say we want one of those odd shapes, 3, $56 a month. That's pretty good for AMD. So 3 cores, how many threads would that be? That's what I'm curious about, and I might launch an instance which would show me that. But even if we went 4 cores, we're looking at $74 a month. 8 cores, $150 a month. I mean, these are great, great prices. 16, $298. So this E4 is looking really nice. So I think I'm going to try to launch one of those soon. So again, they said R5 2 extra large, it can be 200% more expensive than an OCI E43, and it's sure looking that way based on, if I'm doing this right, comparison to what's shown here. So if we do 8 cores, we go back to this cost estimator and say 8, $149 for 1 month. Let me just collapse. We'll trash the images here because we're not doing that. Yeah, $149 a month for 8 cores of E4 in Oracle. So for 8 cores of R5 in Amazon, our monthly is, if we switch this to monthly, $367 Linux on demand. I'm using Linux on demand for everything. Same thing, I assume Oracle has a reserved feature similar to what Amazon has, which would probably save you about 30% or so, 30 to 40% would be my guess. But I'm just going to assume on demand. So, so Amazon is saying $367 for 8 cores a month, and Oracle's saying $149 for 8 cores a month. So yeah, I'm going to go with Oracle on that one. It'd be really interesting to do a side-by-side with a R5.2x large benchmark with Oracle's E4.3. So keep going here. Data transfer is better. Compute is just better price, performance, and precise sizing. And I'm not saying this on behalf of Oracle, like Oracle's not paying me to say this or anything. I'm just examining Oracle to see if it's something I want to use. Because I do feel that AWS and GCP are priced very high. So if there's a just as good or better cloud provider out there that's charging much less, I'm going to go with them. So, and here they've got some nice general purpose compute benchmarks. So they're using spec rate and the E4.2. So we were looking at the E4.3 earlier, with 2 cores, about 10 cents. With 32 gigs of RAM, 10 cents an hour. And look at the AWS price, almost 7 cents more, 17 cents. And then the R5 is 22 cents, which has the same RAM as this E4.2. So let's use that one. 2 cores, 32 gigs. Over here in AWS land, almost 23 cents. 2 cores, 32 gigs of RAM. In Oracle, not even 10 cents, just shy of 10 cents. So half the price, more than half the price less in Oracle. And benching, better. A higher score here, 17 and 26. Over here is 10 and 13. So the price performance is 181 on Oracle Cloud and 46 on AWS. So like it says right here, highest performance with the lowest cost. So it's intriguing. And over here you're paying 130% more for 42% less performance. Not surprised at all. AWS they're the market leader. They can charge what they want, basically. And they're charging different amounts for different customers. It depends if you're an enterprise customer or not. If you're just a regular small shop coming into AWS, you're going to pay a lot. If you're enterprise, you're going to maybe get a 10% discount on everything because you have a contract, a long-term contract. So I totally agree with this. AWS fixed shapes result in significant waste. And by the way, I'm an AWS certified cloud engineer. I have 2 certifications there. So I'm not trying to trash AWS here. I'm not trying to promote Oracle here. I'm just investigating Oracle. I'm looking at it basically for the first time. So they're saying AWS fixed shapes result in significant waste. I believe with that. I believe that. Again, these AMD E4s, single core increments. You can't do that in Amazon. You basically double your core count, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So if you can have an oddball core, if your application can support 3 cores and you don't need all 4, why have an idle core but sit there and pay for it? So, maybe use this oddball 3 with 48 versus having a 4 with 64. And again, with RAM, I really hate how they tie the RAM price to the instance like that, because I might just be after the cores. I don't want that amount of RAM. I want maybe 8 gigs of RAM, but I want 8 cores. You can't really do that. So you have to get 8 cores and 128 gigs of RAM that just sits there idle, which I'm not interested in, but it's just the way that it is. So this appears to be more flexible in terms of their shapes. I'm not going to be doing a lot of I/O stuff, so I'm not too worried about this, but this and GPUs is what I was interested in the most. So HPC, this would be interesting because it looks like their non-virtualized stuff would be powerful here. I don't know what RDMA network is, but the bare metal stuff is interesting to me. These are obviously going to be pretty expensive. You're looking at almost $3 an hour, and versus almost $4 an hour. But you're going to get this on the Oracle side. They're loaded with RAM on the similar box, which, interesting enough, AWS doesn't have as much RAM. They also don't have local NVMe. Again, I don't know what RDMA is. They have an SLA on the Oracle side. They don't on the Amazon side. And about the same on the benching. So, but over here on the Amazon side, you're paying about 44% more. You don't get local SSD. You have half the RAM and no RDMA, whatever that is. So, I don't know that I'm going to be using HPC, but I might. We'll see. And that's basically it as far as that. Take a look at one more thing here and then maybe move on. So let's see, IO I'm not too concerned about. because I'm not going to be doing a lot of throughput to disk. Really all I'm after is cores and GPUs for my workload. So that's pretty good. So if we go back over here, let's do a GPU load. So if we delete this whole thing and add compute plus GPU, and we're going to do one instance, again 31 days, 24 hours. So they've got these two types here. They've got E3 and X7, and then they've got high performance X7. I thought this was pretty interesting too. So if I put one GPU in there, I'm looking at $2,300 almost a month. If I take that out and go to this standard X7, I'm looking at $949, so quite a bit less. Not sure what the difference between X7 and E3 is, but huge savings there to get at one GPU. And then bare metal is also pretty interesting. If you put one there, that's also $949. So to me, why would you do a VM when you could do a bare metal for the same price? I don't want a virtualization layer there. I want bare metal, and if I can pay the same amount for it, I would do that. So I might test that to see if that's really true. And then you got this high performance, which I imagine means high price. Let's see. Yeah, $21.95, but that was still lower than this guy up here, $22.69. So this almost seems like the general, the E3, but this high performance X7 for less, if I needed that, I would certainly do that. And they're saying GPU hour is how they're computing the price. I'm not really sure how that works out, but that's interesting too. So anyway, yeah, I'm definitely going to play around with this and see if I can get some, with these AMD EPYC chips and their recent announcement of the E4 shape and their price reduction and performance increase over AWS, definitely worth looking at, especially now that I have $600 worth of credits in the account. And so the free tier, I currently only have access to like their Intel Skylake and older generation machines, but all I have to do is upgrade to a paid account, and I will burn down my credits until I flip over to paid. But I can't use this stuff until I upgrade to a paid account, but at least I get to burn down that extra $300, because I've almost burned through the first $300, and then the sales rep extended me another $300. So I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to convert today to a paid account and start launching some of these instances and see what I get. So I might even go live again here on YouTube once I launch something and have something useful to say. I might run a benchmarker on it and see what we get. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will join you again live once I have something, some more to say about Oracle. Talk to you then.